Hello, everyone. Welcome to Barca News. It is January 29th, 2024, and it's reported that Robert Lewandowski held a special meeting at his home for all the players in the squad in the wake of the resignation of Xavi Hernandez. Also, it's reported that Barcelona could sign a player during this winter transfer market thanks to Alejandro Valdez's injury. And finally, Porto's coach, Sergio Conceicao, has been linked with Barcelona. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and this is Barca News' official podcast scheduled on every Mondays and Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we not only discuss Barcelona news, but we also get a discussion going with everyone watching, where I read your comments out loud, answer any questions, and again, get a discussion going. For those of you who will be watching the podcast when it ends, I will be leaving timestamps in the description and chapters in the timelines if you want to skip through the discussion. And as always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. All of this helps this channel continue to grow. Now, let's dive right into the news, because today the Barcelona players were seen leaving Robert Lewandowski's home after the Polish striker decided to host a meeting for that entire squad in the wake of Xavi's resignation. Now, I will share with you this video. This video is not my property. It's Mundo Deportivo's property. But I want to share with you this video where, again, the players are seen leaving Lewandowski's home. So there we go. We're seeing the players are leaving. There's Kunde. Apparently, he only puts on fashion shows after matches. There's Fermin Lopez, Vitor Roque, Gabi, Araujo. There's Gabi, who's like, oh, crap, I don't have any cash for the cab. Can you give me a ride, please? You could also see there's Sergio Roberto with his takeout box. He's thinking, I'm going to be out of a job soon. Can't say no to free things. There is Rafinha, who's like, I suck, but I'm still going to take a picture with this little kid. There's a guy who just learned how to hold a camera today. I think that's Vitor Roque in the car. So he's probably like, I don't know Spanish yet, so I'm just going to pretend I don't hear or see anything. Yeah, it's definitely Vitor Roque. There is Oriol Romeo, who's thinking, oh, man, I should have stayed at Girona. I'll be in first place right now. What did I do? So anyways, that is the images from today outside Robert Lewandowski's home. Again, as it's reported that Lewandowski himself, no indication by anyone, decided to host this meeting at his house for all the players of the team. Lewandowski has been reported by many sources that he is pretty much a leader inside and outside the locker room. He is the most veteran player there, the one with the most experience. So you can say he's kind of a captain without the armband. And as such, as the most experienced veteran player, as a leader of this team, he decided to hold a meeting for all the players in his house. We don't know exactly what happened in Lewandowski's house, but a lot of sources are saying that most likely this was a meeting to kind of send the message that we all need to come together. We need to revert the situation. We need to end the season strong for the sake of Xavi, so we can give him kind of like the best goodbye possible. The consensus right now is that all the players do want to revert the situation. They want to finish the season strong. Most importantly, they're aiming to finish the season in the top 4 positions of La Liga. This is very important because Barcelona need to qualify to the Champions League next season. This is not just a sporting matter. This is a financial matter. If Barcelona don't qualify to the Champions League next season, it could be, big trouble for the club financially. Also, another objective of this team is that they need to beat Napoli in round of 16. As I've reported before, Barcelona have budgeted to make it all the way to the quarterfinals. But of course, and if they don't, their budget's gonna be thrown out of balance. So they need to beat Napoli. Whatever happens afterwards, it doesn't matter financially speaking, but they need to make it to the quarterfinals. So that's the consensus within the locker room. They want to revert the situation. They want to finish the season strong. They want to finish in the top 4 of La Liga, and they want to beat Napoli in the round of 16 and make it to the quarterfinals. And they want to do this for Xavi Hernandez because the locker room does feel guilty. They feel like they failed Xavi Hernandez. Of course, we all know about Sergio Roberto's speech after Xavi discussed his resignation with the locker room. Sergio Roberto stood up. He said that he felt guilty, that he apologized on behalf of all the players to Xavi Hernandez, and he sent that message to the locker room that, again, very important for unity, and that he wanted to finish the season strong. And it's even reported that Lewandowski went up to Xavi Hernandez's office afterwards, after that meeting in the locker room, and told Xavi Hernandez, what do we need to do for you to stay? Just say so. Of course, Xavi Hernandez confirmed that, he has already made up his mind in his leaving. So the players definitely feeling guilty. I think it's a little bit too late because they definitely have failed Xavi Hernandez. As I've said it many times before, and I'll say it again. I've always said that both are at fault here. It's not just Xavi. It's not just the players. It's not black or white. It's a gray. It's in the middle. Unfortunately, two camps have formed with people either blaming all on Xavi or people either blaming all on the players. It's neither here nor there. It's both. Xavi Hernandez has failed this project because he doesn't know what to do with the project. He's been unable to build the project. He's been unable to fix the problems of the project. And as far as the players, they have failed us because, well, they play every match like the scoreline is 10-0 at the beginning of the match. No intensity, no pressure, nothing. So both are at fault here. The players feeling guilty. They should feel guilty because they have failed Xavi. I think it's a little bit too late to make it up to him. But nonetheless, it is important to finish the season strong because, again, this is no longer a sporting matter. This is a matter of the club's survival. The club needs to make it to the quarterfinals this season. The club needs to qualify to the Champions League next season because the club's finances depend on it. So very, very important. Hopefully this meeting bears fruit. We'll have to see in the upcoming days, but just know that that's what happened. Now, I do want to comment. I think I did like a few things from these pictures. First of all, in the picture on your screen, there you see Gabi. He's walking without any crutches, without any protection. So that's good news. Seems that Gabi's, recovery is going really well. Of course, he's not going to be back this season. That doesn't mean he's going to come back. He's still going to be out till summer. But it's good to see that our young warrior is doing well, that he's recovering, that he's healthy. So that's definitely good news on that front. I also like that not only the first team players were invited to this meeting, also the Barca Athletic players who have been playing with the first team have been invited. In this picture behind Ferran, you see Kouarsi, you see Hector Ford, and in this picture, of course, you see Casado, Lamine Yamal. So really good to see that not only the first team players were invited, but also the players from the Barca Athletic who were invited as well. Anyways, let's start with the chat section, and then we will discuss the next bit of news, and that's that Barcelona can technically sign someone during this winter transfer market thanks to Valde's injury. Are they going to? We'll discuss that up next. But let's see what you guys are saying. With King Hud said, I love how the players are taking an initiative to come together because we have not much of a team lately, and that reverse remontada is the proof. 100% agree. Again, I think it's a little bit too late to make it up to Xavi, but nonetheless, I'm glad to see them come together. They wanted to revert the situation, wanted to finish La Liga, the season strong. Hopefully this meeting bears fruit. Hopefully we can see the team finish strong. But I guess the next few weeks will be an indication of that. David says, to all the Xavi apologists, answer me one question. Win, lose, or draw, when was the last time you watched a Barca game and enjoyed it? That's an excellent question. But I don't think at this point we can argue with Xavi apologists. I think they've made it very clear that their obsession, I don't know if it's obsession with Xavi Hernandez himself or whether it's their lack of ability to admit they were wrong. I don't know what it is, but they've all shown us very clear that it's just impossible to make them see the light. So if they want to live in their delusion, blame it all on the players, come up with absurd and mediocre excuses, that's on them, to each their own. Sherkute says, hi Mo, if we sign Bergvall, would he stay at this club or join Barca in the summer? Bergvall signing is in the summer, and I do have an update about Lucas Bergvall signing. I made a video earlier today. I think it was about an hour and a half ago. So if you haven't checked it out, make sure you watch it. There is news about Lucas Bergvall in this video. And Chichu says, kill me more, Rafinha sucks, but still taking photos. Romeo sucks. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed my joke. In these dark times, the least we could do is at least laugh, and otherwise we're gonna end up all depressed with what we're seeing. But anyways, let's get back to the news, because we do have to talk about Alejandro Balde and his unfortunate injury. As I reported before, Balde has taken the decision of undergoing surgery, so he will be out for the rest of the season. And it's reported that he has already flown to Finland to undergo that surgery on his leg. Now, Balde was not seen today at Lewandowski's house meeting. This is why. It's not because they don't like him or anything like that. It's because he is in Finland in order to undergo that surgery, so he wasn't present in the meeting. And as such, again, he will be out for the rest of the season, just like Gabi. Now, just like Gabi, because Balde will be out for the rest of the season, that opens up space for Barcelona on the wage limit to use towards the financial fair play. As you might recall, Barcelona had no space on their wage limit when Gabi was injured, and it was announced that he would miss the rest of the season. Under La Liga rules, you can use a percentage of the salary of Gabi's salary. I think it was 70% that you could use towards signing a new player. Barcelona used that margin to bring Vitor Roque during the winter transfer market, because we all know Vitor Roque was a summer signing. Now, Barcelona did not use the entire margin of Gabi's salary because, Vitor Roque does not earn as much as Gabi. I think Vitor Roque is earning around 3 million, which is not a lot. It's insane because he had offers for much higher salaries, but he still chose Barca. And now that Balde will be out for the remainder of the season, Barcelona can also use 70 or 80% of Balde's salary. And if you add to it whatever's left over from Gabi's salary that was not used towards Vitor Roque, it means that Barcelona could sign someone during this winter transfer market, whether it be a pivot, whether it be a winger, whoever it is. Barcelona could sign someone. Now, the question is, can they sign someone? At this point, it's highly unlikely, and it's for two reasons. Reasons number one, the market closes on February 1st. That's only, 2-3 days away. So it's going to be very, very short time, very tight to try to get a deal going and sign someone. Is it impossible? No. We've seen Barcelona pull miracles in the market, sign players during the final hours. We've seen it happen before. But of course, it's a very, very difficult task given how few days are left in the market. The second reason why it's highly unlikely, because right now there aren't really any good options. And Barcelona do not want to sign anyone. Even though it would be just a 6-month loan, they don't just want to sign anyone. They don't want to bring just anybody for the sake of bringing anybody. The only way Barcelona will pull the plug and sign someone is if it's someone who's convincing, someone who has experience, someone who can fill in the role on day one, and most importantly, someone who can elevate the level of the team, not just any player that just to fill the position, because for that we have Oriol Romeo. We don't need to bring anybody to just fill in the role and just sign anyone for the sake of signing anyone. So Barcelona can sign someone thanks to Balde's injury and partly thanks to Gabi's injury. They're going to try. They're going to see what their options are. But most likely, Barcelona are not going to bring anyone again, given that there's only a few days left in the market. And of course, because there are no convincing options. Anyways, that is the news. Let's go back to the chat section, and then we will talk about Sergio Conceicao and his links as the possible next Barcelona coach. All right, let's see. Emmanuel says they have to get together as a team and family so we can be better and better for tomorrow. We know you guys can do it. amen. Again, I really hope that does happen because, again, the survival of the club depends on this. This is no longer a sporting issue. This is no longer, oh, we have to because, we're Barcelona and we always got to finish strong. No, at this point, it's about the survival of the club. We have to because we need to make that money. Without that money, the club could be in financial danger. Let's see. New Jersey Flip says quarterfinals would be ideal. Wait, I'm assuming it's New Jersey Flip or is it NJ Flip? Let me know. Anyways, quarterfinals would be ideal. Yeah, after that, see you next season type shit. Yes, again, the quarterfinals, we need to make it because that's what the club budgeted for. Anything after would be a plus. But right now, we need to make it to the quarterfinals because the club needs to make that money. Because if we make it to the quarterfinals, we obviously get a bonus from the UEFA. So we need that. After that, anything else we do would be a bonus for Barcelona. And Isaac says, if there is someone to blame, it sure is that squirrel-looking ex-president. I still feel he was sent by Papa Perez. I think with Bartomeu, I honestly think, and again, this is my opinion, I seriously think that he did what he did because he wanted Barcelona to get to a point where it was no return financially. In that way, it can become a publicly owned corporation and, have an IPO, have it go public, sell its shares, because he would have made a lot of money had that happened under his presidency. So I really, really think that Bartomeu was doing that on purpose because the level of incompetence that Bartomeu displayed, I mean, it takes a very skilled person to be that competent, if that makes sense. Like, you really have to be very good to be that incompetent. And I really think what he did was on purpose because the contracts that he signed, the money that he was giving players, crazy high salaries, way higher than the market value. No need for that. We've seen that players are willing to come to Barcelona for even less than what other clubs are offering them. Why was this guy offering them double what other clubs were offering? No need for that. The signing bonuses, the variables, the bonuses to the families, the bonuses to the Asians, and this is not just the players. I mean, the contracts that he signed with vendors, the contracts that he signed with agencies, with firms, like 10 times higher than market value. Like, absolutely no need for that. Like, he was purposely blowing Barca's money. Like, the way he was spending, this is not incompetence. This is a sign of doing it with purpose. Like, he was on purpose throwing Barcelona's money away because nobody is that incompetent. You have to be very, very good at being incompetent to do what Bartomeu did. Anyways, let's get back to the comment section. Sorry, not the comment section, to the news. And let's talk about this next guy, which is Sergio Conceicao. I hope I'm saying that right. But he is Porto's coach, and he has been linked with Barcelona as a possible replacement for Xavi Hernandez. You ask why? Well, Conceicao, he is 49 years old. He's been at Porto since 2017, has won multiple trophies, and his contract is up with Porto at the end of the season. Means that he will be available in the summer, which means would be viable option for Barcelona because he would be free of his contract. More reasons why he's been linked. He has a really good relationship with Deco. And also, who's his agent? No other than Jorge Mendes, who we know is heavily linked with Barcelona, has a really good relationship with Laporta, works with Barcelona a lot. I think half the squad is represented by Jorge Mendes. So given Conceição's ties to Deco, his ties to Jorge Mendes, plus the fact that he will be free during this summer, has, of course, linked him to Barcelona and has sparked the rumors that he would be a viable option for Barcelona. Are these rumors true? Is this speculation true? I say absolutely not. Why? Well, first of all, the list of coaches that I gave you in yesterday's video, which if you haven't seen yet, make sure to check it out. That is the list that's been given to me by people at the club. So those coaches are who Barcelona are considering, and this is coming from sources at the club. This is not speculation. This is not rumors. That's why I said Luis Enrique, forget it. Arteta, forget it. Those are not happening. Pep Guardiola, forget it. Even though people kept linking it with Barcelona, I said no. Why? Because those names were not on the list that was given to me from sources within the club. So the list I gave you yesterday, that's the true list that Barcelona are considering. Who's not on it? Sergio Conceição. And that's why I can say confidently that he is not being considered. Another reason why it's not being considered, and if I didn't have that list, I still would say no, because he's not really someone who plays the Barcelona style, not really a possession kind of coach, not really an attack-focused coach. So his style is definitely very different from Barcelona. And finally, the final reason why I can confidently say that no, and this is as of today, of course, things could change. Barcelona tomorrow could say we're broke, so we're going to go for him. But as it stands today, he's not an option. And the third reason why I can say that he's not an option is because, as I've said before, Barcelona are looking for an experienced coach, someone who's managed big teams, someone who can come and have kind of guarantees of success. Barcelona feel like they already took a risk with Xavi. Xavi didn't have experience. They took the risk with him. It didn't work out. So now they're not looking to take another risk. Now they're looking to make a safe bet. That's why coaches like Mitchell, like Imanol, like De Zerbi, like Thiago Motta, those coaches are very admired by Barcelona, but they don't generate enough consensus because, again, Barcelona feel like they need someone who's proven, someone with experience. They need a safe bet. They risked it with Xavi. It didn't work out. They don't want to risk it again with a different coach. So this is why I say I don't think Barcelona, or I can confidently say that I don't think Barcelona are considering Conceicao. But again, this as it stands today, January 29th, 2024, things can always change. But as of today, he is not being seriously considered and is nothing more than the media hyping everyone up. Anyways, let's get back to the comment section. We'll do a few more comments and then we will talk about Deco and this kind of rumor that's going out that Deco somehow shut down Xavi's signings, and this is why Xavi failed. We'll talk about that, but let's do a few more comments first. By the way, before that, since we are talking about coaches, I do want to mention one thing because I've seen this on being talked about on social media, people sharing it. I even had someone say it on one of my videos saying that Barcelona fans are so toxic that that's why Guardiola only lasted 4 years in Barcelona. But now he's been more than 7 years with Manchester City. And I've seen this being repeated a lot. I think this is something I've gotten used to where I see one thing being said on social media and then everybody repeats it, whether it's true or not. It just catches on like wildfire and everybody just says the same thing. And this is one of those things that everybody's just repeating. Barcelona fans are so toxic that no way we could have a coach stay here for years. Look at Guardiola. He left after 4 and that's why he's with Manchester City for so long. And to that I say, first of all, if you think that Pep Guardiola does not get criticized by the Manchester City fan base and by the English media as a Manchester City coach, you are sorely mistaken. Every coach of every football team in the world gets criticized by its fan base and by the media. It's part of the job. When you become the manager of the team, you become the face of that team and everything falls on you. If the team does well, you get praised. If the team does bad, you get criticized. It's part of the job. Every football coach in the world deals with this, not just football, any team sports, whether it's baseball, hockey, basketball, you name it. It's just the reality. If you're trying to suggest that somehow only Barcelona fans are the one who criticize their coaches, you're delusional and you're not living in reality. Real Madrid, when they won the last Champions League, all the Real Madrid fans said, Ancelotti is the best coach ever, the best coach in history. He's better than Pep Guardiola, better than Luis Enrique, etc. Following season, Real Madrid implodes. They don't win anything besides Copa del Rey. They get humiliated at the hands of Manchester City, and all the Real Madrid fans are screaming, Ancelotti out, Ancelotti out. So to suggest that only Barcelona fans are the ones who demand things from their coaches and criticize their coaches, you're absolutely delusional. The second thing, and this is the most important part, Pep Guardiola did not leave Barcelona because the fans were criticizing him. Pep Guardiola left Barcelona because how he was treated by the board of directors at the time. See, Joan Laporta signed Pep Guardiola or promoted Pep Guardiola to the first team. 2 years later, Laporta is ousted and Sandro Rosé becomes president with Josep Maria Bartomeu as his vice president. In order to understand this next part, you have to understand FC Barcelona politics. Rosé, Bartomeu, and their cohort are what they're called Barto Rosellistas. They are a competing faction that competes against Laporta and his cohorts, who are they nicknamed Laportistas. So these are two competing factions within FC Barcelona. These are like the Republicans versus Democrats in the US, Conservative Party versus Labour Party in the UK. So two competing factions. When José and Bartomeu come into power, they're not happy that Guardiola is the coach because he's the coach of the competing faction of Joan Laporta. So they start making his life miserable. So eventually, after all that harassment, disrespect, and mistreatment, Pep Guardiola decides to leave. So Guardiola did not leave because he was harassed by the fans. He left by how he was treated by the board of directors at the time. And this is why it's important when you see something on social media and you want to repeat it, make sure to verify whether it's true or not. Don't just repeat it because it sounds cool. Because even if you didn't know this part of history, common sense should dictate that no, Guardiola was not being criticized by the fans. Why? Because Barcelona at the time were playing like the gods. They were demolishing everyone in their path. They were demolishing Spanish teams, European teams, teams from anywhere in the world. In matches, they would impose themselves, they would dominate, they would subjugate their opponents, and they would win effortlessly. So no, Pep Guardiola was not being criticized by the fans. Even if he was, that's not why he left. He left because how he was treated by José and Bartomeu. And finally, if you think that Barcelona are the only fans who criticize their coaches, you need to come back to earth and live in the real life. Anyway, that's what I wanted to say about that. Let's do a few comments, and then we will end with Xavi and Deco and this whole thing that people are saying. McBarca says, as a Xavi apologist, I have to say you guys expect quite higher than what you deserve. Okay, let's talk about that because I keep hearing this excuse as well. People keep saying, well, you know, you can't expect Barcelona to win trophies every season, and you can't expect Barcelona to win, you know, trebles and blah, blah, blah. And you can't expect Barcelona from 2009. No one is expecting that. I've actually said it many times in my previous videos. Pep Guardiola's Barca is never going to come back again. Just can't. Football has evolved, so that style of football would not work today. Plus, we're never going to see the likes of, you know, Messi, Iniesta, Busquets, Xavi, Piqué, Puyol, everybody coincide at the same team. It's just not going to happen. So it's not about results. And this is what Xavi apologists cannot get through their thick heads. It's not about the results. It's about how the team performs. And under Xavi, this team does not perform. Under Xavi, this team has no structure, has no organization, has no identity, has no system of play or any mechanisms in place. Under Xavi, this team is clueless, and this team does not know how to play football. So it's not about the results. It's about how the team performs under Xavi, and under Xavi, this team performs horribly. So no, we're not expecting for Barcelona to win a treble every season. We're not expecting for Barcelona to perform like Pep Guardiola's Barcelona. We expect Barcelona, as one of the biggest clubs in the world, to compete. That's it, to compete. And right now, we're not even competing. Right now, we're pathetic. So get it out of your thick heads that this is somehow about the results, that we're not winning trophies. It's not about that. It's about how the team performs. I've explained it a million times on here, and I keep getting the same comments talking about results. Get it through your thick heads. It's not about results. Anyways, let's do one more, and then we'll do more news. Omi says, hi, Mo. Enjoyed to watch your new live. My first time. I'm Golden Boy from South Africa. Thank you for joining. Hopefully enjoy the live stream, and hopefully we can see you in more live streams. Anyway, let's do the last bit of news because information has surfaced that Deco had told Xavi last summer that he was not going to be making the signings that Xavi wanted. And as such, some people have used this as an excuse to blame everything on Deco because the Xavi apologist will do mental gymnastics and will bend backwards to find excuses rather than accept the fact that Xavi Hernandez himself accepted that he was not the right man for the job. How hard is it for you guys to accept something that Xavi himself accepted? I don't know. But anyways, this is the bit of news, and that's that Xavi Hernandez last summer, after winning La Liga, he thought that Barcelona would continue to sign players and would continue adding players to the team in order to continue growing. And Xavi Hernandez specifically wanted two signings. The first one was Bernardo Silva, and the second one was either Kimmich or Subimendi. And Xavi wanted two out of these three players. And it's reported that Xavi even reached out to all three players, talked to all three of them, and told them that if a good offer from Barcelona comes, that they should join the team and they should join this project. Now, Deco, when he took his position as sporting director, he reportedly flew to where Xavi was vacationing during the summer. He met with Xavi and told him, I know you want these players. I know you've met with them. I know you've talked with them. But the reality is that we cannot sign any of them because Barcelona are in no financial position to make 70, 80 million euro signings, let alone 2 of them, because any of these players would have cost 60 to 80 million euros each. So they can't make one of these signings, let alone 2. So Deco told Xavi no, and now people are, of course, finding this as an excuse to blame Deco. But this was not Deco trying to, sabotage the project. This was simply Barcelona's financial reality that they could not make 60 to 80 million euro signings. And that is why none of these players, Zubimendi, Kimmich, or Bernardo Silva, were possible. Actually, out of these 3, even if Barcelona had money, probably Bernardo Silva would have been the only option because Kimmich still hasn't decided to leave Bayern. And Zubimendi had actually already said afterwards, he said completely no, that he wanted to stay with Real Sociedad, that he wanted to play the Champions League with his boyhood club. But anyways, that's what happened. It was not that Deco was trying to sabotage the project. Simply, Deco told Xavi the reality of the club, and it's that we cannot keep signing these players. Simply, there's no money. Which goes to show the incompetence of Xavi, where he thinks that the only way this project could work is just signing stars left and right for every position, blowing money like we are PSG, instead of working with what he has. Anyway, speaking of Xavi and winning La Liga, this is another thing I want to discuss because I keep seeing this a lot. People are like, well, Xavi won La Liga. So obviously it's not his fault how the team is playing, and it's the players' full fault because Xavi won La Liga. And to that I say, yes, Xavi Hernandez did win La Liga last season, but the question is, how did he win it? And he won it not convincingly. He won it by barely scraping by winning matches 1-0, 0-1, with last-minute goals, with lucky shots, with last-minute PKs, with pretty much through individualities. Xavi and Barca did not win La Liga by playing beautiful football, by imposing themselves, dominating, and subjugating their opponents. They won it by scraping by. And when you barely scrape by, that eventually catches up with you, and eventually things implode. We've seen it over and over again. Most recently, we saw it with Real Madrid. They won the Champions League, their last Champions League. They barely won it. They weren't scraping by. And what happened the following season? They completely imploded. They didn't win anything besides the Copa del Rey. They were even humiliated in the Champions League. So yes, Xavi did win La Liga, but he barely won it. He won it by scraping by, and when that happens, things catch up with you, and things eventually implode. And the signs were clear as day. You can see them from a mile away. The writing was all over the walls that this team was going to implode by the way they were playing. But nobody paid attention because, again, people are so focused on results when it's not about the results. It's about how you achieve those results that people ignored the signs. They ignored the signs that this team was going to implode because all they cared about is that Barcelona had won La Liga. So there you have it. This is what happens when you only focus on results, is that you miss the clear signs, and the clear signs clearly stated that this team was going to implode. And that's exactly what happened. So that's why it's not about the results, it's how you achieve those results. Okay, let's see. So NJ Flip clarifying, no, it's not New Jersey, it's just his nickname. Okay, good to know. Let's see. The Matrix says, out of all the coaches being named, who do you guys think is the best opinion? That's a good question. Please let me know what you guys think. I personally like Mitchell. I just think how much he has done with so little, because you don't have a very, very small budget, a 65 million euro budget, and he has done it with mostly nobodies, which goes to show the fact that we didn't sign Kimmich is not why Barcelona is not functioning. Because this is another thing Xavi apologists love to use. They're like, oh, Xavi didn't get his signings. He has a subpar team, and that's why things failed. Really? We have Gabi. You tell me Gabi is subpar. You tell me Pedri is not good enough. You tell me Frankie is not good enough. You tell me Gundogan is not good enough. You tell me Araujo is not good enough. You tell me Balde is not good enough. You tell me Cancelo is not good enough. Lamine, Kouarsi, Hector Fort, Mark Ter Stegen. You tell me none of these players are good enough to build a project? Because teams out there would kill for any one of these players, not all of them, just one. Bayern Munich were willing to throw their entire checkbook at us to sign Pedri. Then they try to throw their entire checkbook at us to sign Balde. Now they're trying to throw their entire checkbook at us to sign Araujo. So teams out there would kill for just one of these players, and we have all of them. And you're telling me none of these players are good enough to build a project? This is how I know that Xavi apologists just, they're out of excuses. So now they're just throwing anything they got at the wall and hoping something sticks. And at this point, your excuses are just so absurd that they're not holding any water. It's like trying to stop a leak with a napkin, and it's just not working. Igor says, if the rumors are true, it makes me hate Barca's nepotism yet again. I don't give a damn who's his Asian and whether he's in Gorilla. Don't worry, the rumors are not true. Sergio Conceicao is not being considered at the moment. Let's see. Alain says, it's absolutely important that the board take the head start that they have. Make a great appointment, nepotism aside. And Klaus, my man Klaus, who never misses a live stream, says people are literally talking about Xabi Alonso and say that they are Barca fans. And these are the same people probably who were mentioning Mourinho. But we're the fake fans. We're the fake fans who, who are not true fans because we criticize Xabi, right? But they're the real ones because they want Xabi Alonso, because they want Mourinho, because they'll defend Xabi to the end, which begs the question: are you an FC Barcelona fan or are you a FC Xavi Hernandez fan? Because my loyalty lies with the FC Barcelona right here. FC Barcelona. This is who my loyalty lies with. It does not lie with Xavi Hernandez. Does not lie with any of the players on the team. My loyalty lies with FC Barcelona. And when I see this coach and these players dragging my team, my crest, my colors through the ground, through all the fields of Europe, pissing on the Barcelona crest, then of course I'm going to get angry, and of course I'm going to demand that things change. But you're content with that. You're happy. Oh, who cares if this team is being embarrassed? Who cares if this team is being humiliated? As long as Xavi stays coach and as long as you stay happy as Xavi being the coach, that's fine. Let them piss all over the crest. Let them humiliate our club. That's okay, right? Because what's important is what you want, which is for Xavi to stay coach, right? And a funny thing is that ever since Xavi's resignation, people have been messaging me, oh, are you happy that Xavi has resigned? And to that I say, no, I'm not happy. I'll be happy if Barcelona were performing well. I'd be happy if Barcelona had won the Spanish Super Cup. I'd be happy if Barcelona were still alive in la Copa del Rey. I'd be happy if Barcelona were competing in La Liga. So no, I'm not happy because I didn't get what I want. You, on the other hand, you got what you want because you wanted Xavi at all costs, and you got Xavi at all costs, and look at the state of our team. So the question is, are you happy? Because you, as a mediocre fan, you were content with accepting mediocrity. You were content with a mediocre team being led by a mediocre coach, achieving mediocre results. And you are so content and so comfortable in your mediocrity that whenever anyone criticizes that mediocrity, you're willing to defend it at all costs, including doing mental gymnastics to come up with absurd and mediocre excuses, because that's how happy, content, and comfortable you are in your mediocrity. And look at where your mediocrity has gotten us. Look at the state of the team. We conceded four goals against Real Madrid, 4 goals against Girona, 4 goals against Athletic Club de Bilbao, 5 goals against Villarreal. We got humiliated in the Copa del Rey. We got humiliated in the Spanish Super Cup. We're 10 points behind in La Liga. And the qualification to the Champions League next season is at risk. And what these mediocre fans don't understand is that not only is this a sporting crisis, this is a financial crisis that could easily mean the end of FC Barcelona as it exists today. Because if we fail to qualify to the Spanish Super Cup, and if we fail to qualify to the Champions League, and if we fail to qualify to the Club World Cup's new format, we can easily forfeit 100 million euros, which could mean the end of Barcelona financially. But these mediocre fans are so content and so comfortable in their mediocrity that they don't even realize that. And if they do realize that, they don't even care. Because God forbid anyone challenges their mediocre view. Because they're more content living comfortably in this mediocrity rather than challenging themselves and changing the way they think, or waking up and admitting that they were wrong, or admitting that maybe things need to change. But they ask me if I'm happy. My question is, are you happy? Because look at where your mediocrity has gotten us. Let's see, what else? We'll do a few more comments and then we'll end it. Louis says, also presidential election makes things crazy too. They do. The Matrix says, we play the same type of soccer week in, week out. No change, of course. We are pissed. We are seeing no improvement. Let's see. What else? Igor says, a mediocre speech was great. Thank you. I'm glad you appreciate it. Matrix says, if Barcelona have money, they would sack Xavi right away because we are slipping. The problem with that, and I've said this before, the problem with sacking a coach midway through the season is you're not really left with a lot of options, because most coaches are working right now. And it's not until the summer where, coaches' contracts expire, coaches resign, like Klopp. Coaches get fired because at the end of the season, they didn't get the results the club wanted. So in the summer, there's a lot more options to choose from. And sacking Xavi right now, there's not a lot of options out there in the market. And I would hate for us to sack Xavi just to bring someone else who we don't really want, but we kind of bring in just because we have no other option and we need a coach right away. Because this whole putting patches on things, and we've been doing this for a while. We've been doing this since Luis Enrique left, right? We brought in Valverde, who there was no consensus about. Nobody really wanted Valverde on the team, but it was kind of like, okay, we need a coach. What are the options? Valverde's available. Fuck it, bring him. Right? And then we sack Valverde, and then it's Setien, right? Same thing. Oh, we don't have a coach. We don't have options. Let's just bring Setien in. And then we bring in Koeman. And then we bring in Xavi, right? So these are four coaches that never really generated consensus, but we brought in as temporary solutions, and we can't do it a fifth time. We have to finally pick someone who we are sure about. And maybe it doesn't work out. Maybe it does work out. But at least we have to be, bring someone who we actually agree on. We can't keep doing these patches, right? And sacking someone midway through the season, it leads to just bringing in a patch, a temporary solution. Prima says, definitely Mo, fans have to separate Xavi as a player and Xavi as a coach. Thank you. And Barca Mama says, say it louder for those in the back. Honestly, I've said it so many times, but I don't think it's going to get through people's heads. Till this day, I keep getting people commenting, making excuses for Xavi, which is insane. This is literally the definition of irrational behavior and irrational thought. Because literally, Xavi Hernandez himself has said that he is not the man for the job. Joan Laporta and the board of directors have accepted that decision and have agreed that, yes, that's the best solution because Xavi Hernandez is indeed not the man for the job. But these Xavi apologists are still arguing that he is. So Xavi himself says, I'm not the man of the job. And these people are still saying, yes, he is. This is literally the definition of insanity, of irrational thought. It's insane. You guys need help. Imagine if there's a murder and people saying John did it, right? John killed the victim. And then there's people who are saying, no, John's innocent. But then John comes out and says, yes, I'm the murderer. This is why I did it. This is how I did it. Here's the murder weapon. And he turns himself in. And then he gets arrested, charged, prosecuted, and he's found guilty. And then there's still people saying, no, he's innocent. It's like, how? He himself admitted it. And this is literally what's happening right now. Xavi Hernandez himself is saying, I am not the man for the job. And these Xavi apologists are still making up excuses for him. This is insanity, irrational thought. You guys need help. And please seek it, because either number one, you can't see the reality because you're so obsessed with Xavi that your obsession makes it impossible for you to comprehend what's going on or to understand it or process it. And in that case, you should seek help, because obsession is never healthy. You should not be obsessed with anyone or anything. Or number two, you have a really hard time accepting when you're wrong. And if that's the case, that's also a problem, because in life, we're going to be wrong. And you have to learn how to accept when you're wrong. Otherwise, you're going to lead a very difficult life, and you're going to have very difficult relationships with people. So either scenario, whether it's an obsession or whether it's your incapability of admitting when you're wrong, whatever it is, from the bottom of my heart, please talk to someone. Please, I beg you. Chick says, I feel bad for John. I do too, but he shouldn't have committed the murder. Let's see what else. Matrix says Xavi is the first coach I think should be able to bring in intensity to the team. We have none, zero. Xavi? Oh, I'm guessing you're talking about Xabi Alonso, not Xabi Hernandez, because he obviously hasn't been able to. Sia says, Mo, if you could put any player at the club right now in their prime and have them at the club right now, who would it be? Oh, man, that's hard. Like, are we talking about any player and money is not an issue and financial fair play is not an issue? We need proper wingers. That's for sure. So I would start there. I think Leao or Wirtz on the left would be amazing. Of course, this is, money is not an issue. Otherwise, these two are impossible. And then on the right, and you guys are going to hate me for this, but this is, of course, completely hypothetical. I wouldn't mind seeing Rodrigo on the right. And I know he's a Madridista, but he technically, he was a Barcelona fan first, all through his childhood, and there's pictures of him, and he always, said that he was a Barcelona fan and a Messi fan. And then, I feel like when you sign for Madrid, I think you agree in your contract to say you're a Madridista since you're a kid, because all these players come up, including Arda Güler. They have all these pictures since they're kids wearing Barca jerseys, and they say they're Barca fans. And the moment they sign for Madrid, they're like, oh, I've been a Madrid fan since I was born. And all of a sudden, all these posts of them about Barca, they just disappear. But anyways, definitely wingers, and we need a proper pivot. As far as, I would love Rodri as our pivot. That would be amazing. But, all that is just nonsense talk. Grandmaster Yoda says, do you think Bergvall will replace De Jong or Gundo? He has the potential down the road. Not now. That's not going to happen now. He's only 17. He's about to be 18. Maybe down in 2-3 years, possibly. Yes. We'll see how he adapts. But today, no, absolutely not. He doesn't, he's still a kid. And he's coming from the Swedish league. It's not like he's coming from, I don't know, England or Bundesliga. He's coming from the Swedish league, much, much weaker league, with all due respect to the Swedish league. I'm not trying to bash it. It's just the reality. And he's 17. So Klaus says, Güler followed Messi and loved Messi. Yeah, he did. But then when he signed, literally in his day of his presentation, he was like, oh, I've been a Madrid fan since I was a kid. No, you weren't. I swear Madrid forces them to say that, because every Madrid player that joins, all of a sudden, they've been fans since they were kids. And it's like, no, you weren't. Stop lying. Just admit it. You were a Barca fan, and then they offered you more money. So now you're a Madrid fan because your loyalties are up for sale. Just say that. People will respect you more than lying about it. Matrix says, if we have money, how will you guys rebuild Barcelona, and who will you keep and bring in? We don't need to do that much work as far as rebuilding, because we have the core. We have people like, we have a lot of young players. Araujo is only 24. We have Kouarsi, we have Mika Faye. We have young center backs. On the left, we have Balde, who's only 19. We have Alex Baye, who can come back. He's only 17, 18. On the right back, we have Hector Fort. He's 16 or 17. We would need another right back. So maybe that position would need a second reinforcement. In the midfield, Pedri, Gabi. Pedri's 20, 21. Gabi's 18. Frankie's 26. On the right, we have Lamine, who's only 16. In the center forward, we have Vitor Koke, who's 18. We have Gyu, who just turned 18. We don't have anyone on the left. We would need to bring in someone for the left. So we don't have to do that much work. It's not like this is not Barca from 2-3 seasons ago where it was all old people, Piqué and Alba and Busquets, even though Busquets is still irreplaceable till today. He was 34. So this is not Barca from a few seasons ago where it was all just old players. This is a Barca with a lot of young, promising talent. So we don't need to do that much work. We just need a coach who knows what to do with this young talent. Okay, Luis Solana says, I agree with Leao on the left. I would love Nico Williams on the right, Subi as CDM, and Arnau Martinez as right back. Having a more defensive right back would balance that back line out, like Arnau's great as well. Fair. Those are all good options. I like it. If I was Australian, I would say it like that. Klaus says, Vini and Modric were also Barca fans. Modric idolized Cruyff. Yeah. Like I said, I swear, they make him sign on the dotted line. From today on, I will always say I was a Madrid fan. Gio says, Mo, based off what we know, Margiu or Vitor Roque. As of today, as it stands today, January 29, 2024, I would say Gio. Not because I have anything against Vitor Roque. I don't want tomorrow people say, oh, Mo said Vitor Roque sucks and we should sell him. People always love to take my words and twist them. But Roque just arrived, so we don't know anything about him, right? He's only played 10 minutes here, 5 minutes there, so we don't know anything about him. I'm not saying he's good. I'm not saying he's bad. We just don't know. For now, he's a question mark because he's yet to adapt to Barcelona. He's yet to adapt to European football. He still has to get in form. We know he was out of shape because he was out due to injury for 3 months. So there's still a lot of work for Vitor Roque. So we don't know what he's going to provide for the team. But we do know so far from what we've seen what Guiu could provide, right? Because unlike Vitor Roque, Guiu does not need to adapt to Barca. He's been at Barca for many years. He does not need to adapt to European football. He's been playing European football since he was a kid. So from what we know so far, Guiu. But again, this is as it stands today. Tomorrow, next week, next month, things could be completely different, and we can be talking about Vitor Roque being, the best 9 that ever played in the history of football. I don't know. Anyways, the Matrix says we have some players doing well on loan: Dest, Pablo, and Garcia. Okay, Dest is not happening. Barcelona a long time decided that Dest is not good enough. He's not. So Dest is not happening. PSV Eindhoven are ready to activate his option to buy in the summer, 10 million. Thank you, sir. Let's get that money back. Eric is doing great. I always said that Eric was a great center back, but people always said, oh, you're crazy. Eric is trash. He's not. We've seen how he's balling in Mitchell and under Mitchell. And this is what happens when you don't have a proper coach. We had Romeo under Mitchell, the best pivot in La Liga. He comes to Barcelona, and this guy cannot even, he can't even play FIFA on the PlayStation at this point. And we had Eric Garcia, a bench warmer in Barcelona. He goes under Garcia and under Mitchell, and he's just like killing it, right? So Eric, sure, yeah, he is doing great. Dest, not Barca level. Pablo, only recently did he start getting minutes. I wouldn't say that he is gonna, he's gonna ball out because he just started getting minutes. We'll see how he ends the season. Luis Solana says, Mark, you got opportunity at the wrong time. Splashed 60 mil before he even stepped on the field. I hope we'll pan out, though. Competition up front is needed. Yeah, that's what worries me about Vitor Roque. And I said this before. I said Vitor Roque better be one hell of a signing, because if he doesn't end up panning out, then we're in trouble because of you. Because then it's going to be like, okay, why did we spend all this money if we had you? And we didn't splash 60. We paid 30. We paid 30 fixed. The other 30 are variables. And those variables need to be met before Barcelona pays them out. Which if Barcelona ends up paying him out, then great. That means Vitor Roque panned out. He worked out. He did great. Everybody's happy. So it was not 60. It was 30. The other 30 are variables. Anyways, let's see. I think that's it, guys. Oh my God, we're at 1 hour. I usually try to limit the live streams to 30 minutes, but there was so much to say. not a lot of news because most of it was in a video earlier, but there's so much crap circulating in social media that I wanted to address. I also wanted to address the delusion of these Xavi apologists. But anyways, okay. We will end this live stream, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. For your likes, your comments, your subscriptions. I made an earlier video today with some good news. News about Faye, Bergval. News about 3 coaches who have been ruled out as Barcelona candidates to replace Xavi. So check it out. But for now, I bid you an adieu. I'll see you tomorrow in tomorrow's video. And as always, no matter how our team does, no matter how delusional some of our fans can be, Visca Barça.